live. We are live. Woohoo! It is Friday, you guys. Friday, 6 p.m. in the Pacific. Welcome to all the time zones that are going to be joining me. And those of you watching the replay, it is Friday, August 9th, 2024. Oh, I was just live yesterday for the Lionsgate, and that was fantastic. It was long. It was all in total, I think, over 4.5 hours long, from beginning of the public to the private session as well, which is kind of not totally out of the ordinary. It's easy for these lives to go long, and in great part, I really, I'm the conduit, the channel, the speaker box, the vessel, if you will, on all of these things, and just been conditioned to go with the flow regardless, unless I'm told to wrap it up, or I just follow the guidance no matter what, and things are just as long as they are. But we do have the replay. The replay of the event is available now on my website for streaming, unlimited streaming, total and complete, unlimited access to the replay of the method that I show you for releasing DMT naturally, quickly, safely, effectively, and opening up and activating your third eye through that method. And then we get into the spirit walk for the excuse me. We get into the spirit walk for the event. And you know what? I am the entire private recording is 2 hours, 22 minutes, and like 39 seconds. And I would say the first 25 to 30 minutes of that is the DMT method and going over that, which was very cool. And then after that, that's the spirit walk. So I think the spirit walk is close to an hour and a half. I really honestly I've been so busy. Just getting everything up and readjusted on my website and uploaded and everything for the replay, and then sending out the email. So if you didn't get an email that hi Michelle and Sandra. Hi Sandra. Hey loves. Mwah! It was so good to see your face yesterday, Sandra. I love you. How are you guys feeling today? How are you feeling today? Yeah, tell me how you're feeling today. I was just talking about the private session for the Lionsgate. They were both at the private session, and I'm curious how they felt. I heard from Barb and Ryan, both of which said they had a hard time falling asleep. I did not have a hard time falling asleep. Once I was jacked there at the end. There's a whole thing at the end that gets me super jacked. And if you get the private, if you weren't there, and if you want to go and buy the replay and watch and do the spirit walk and watch us talk about it afterwards, I talk about it, but I get so jacked, especially for any spirit walk, but especially when we work with this certain type of energy. And I love it, and I get super jacked on it. So I'll be, and then it'll slowly like I'll start losing it and then it'll hit me really hard. I'm like, oh my God, I am tired, because channeling and facilitating those spirit walks and just all of this stuff takes a lot of energy, and I'm holding a lot of energy. We never sleep. Wonderful. Thank you. You guys are hilarious. Wonderful. Thank you. We never sleep. You guys are the cutest. My adorable Canadian couple. You guys are too cute. I'm glad you're feeling wonderful. Sandra says she loves you too, and me too. Aw, thank you guys. I love you guys. So yeah, I ended up crashing, not too, like, at one point I ate. I didn't even eat that much. I made some like tater tots or something like that. Yeah, that's what I ate afterwards. I was super hungry, and then that's what I ate. Because I don't know, it just was what it was. And then I just was ready to curl up and go to sleep. And I still had to, kind of turn the house down. And then after that, I was definitely ready to say adios. But then I woke up super duper early. It was probably around 4:00. So I really didn't sleep that much. So I did fall asleep. When I fell asleep, I slept hard, but I didn't sleep all the way through. And then I was up for a few hours. And then I think around 7:30, I got super sleepy, and then I slept until 10. So that was what I did this morning after the Lionsgate last night. But anyhow, let me get you the link to my website. It's just on my homepage. So if you go to my homepage, and let me just show everybody just to make it simple. And everybody, I see there's a few other people here. Check in, say hello. Where are you watching from? I'm not on Facebook. Uh-oh, hold on a second. I'm just realizing. I should pay more attention. I knew something looked weird. Facebook, here I am. Just now connecting. You didn't miss much. Just now connecting to Facebook. I actually got the guidance to check Facebook about 10 minutes ago, and I just completely forgot. There we go. I'm live now, I think. Am I? It says I'm live, but it's not showing it. There we go. Okay, cool. So now I'm on Facebook. Both my YouTube channels, the We Are Healing Life podcast channel and the Infinite Empath Transfigurations channel. And X. Hello, X. And now Facebook. So hopefully people from Facebook are going to start watching as well. I knew, so I was like, what is looking? I'm a little out of it, not going to lie. Like I said, I didn't get a whole lot of sleep, been busy all day. Time is going by very quickly. If you have that experience, do share. Let me know how you're doing. So here is the link. There we go. Is it going on X? Well, it's my webpage. It's my home page of my webpage. Oh, I think I already put it up there at the top. So there it is again. But so that's what I was going to do. I was going to present, bear with me, people. I'm a little energetically and spiritually cracked open since yesterday, plus working and stuff and all the things. So, here we are. Here is my webpage. right up here at the top, you can click the Lionsgate 2024 and it will zoom you straight down to it. Or you can just scroll. It's basically here right after the thing for the podcast that we're watching now that I'm on. Is this the Lionsgate replay? I go into what this is about and to purchase it for unlimited streaming, just click the actual video and go ahead and if you need to just go through the checkout process. It's $888 for unlimited access. And you do want to use that video more than once. You're guided to, if you do the spirit walk, the ultimate experience, and to really integrate consciously, energetically, and all the things, the protocol for this spirit walk, for the medicine of this spirit, so really see it as taking your medicine, how many doses of medicine you see. And maybe that makes it easier, because it does, to really get the maximum benefits from it, you need to commit some time to it. This is one of the most, like the top 1-2 spirit walks, energy portals, stargates of the year. And it's highly recommended that you partake of this spirit walk if you weren't there with me live. And it is available for you to download. And it's never too late to go back and do previous spirit walks. It's not like, oh, you missed it. There's really no such thing energetically and through time. It's just that you can connect with that energy and partake from that infinitely, truly. So you're encouraged to do so. But if you do, you're also encouraged to make the most of it, which means not only doing it the one time, but listening back to it when you're not actually doing the spirit walk. So you could be, just listening to it, or maybe doing dishes or folding laundry, something basic where you can really listen to it and even stop and take notes, or you could just sit and listen to it and take notes. That would really be ideal. And then do it again once or twice minimum to fully integrate with the energies and remember everything consciously about it, and spend time, taking notes in an awake, not in astral travel state, is really the way to go. So when you go to that, like I showed you, when you go to that link, all you got to do is scroll down a little bit and you're there. If you're not a member of my site, you just have to register and purchase, and you can stream it indefinitely. Hey, Bo. So we have Adrian. Hi, Infiniti, from Karen and Adrian. Hi, everyone in the chat. Whoop, whoop. Hello, my ladies of Nevada. They're new residents of Nevada. And Chris, hi, totally forgot this was today. Yep, today. I know, we were just like here yesterday, but I was guided not to skip another Friday podcast. I skipped the last 2 weeks due to my fire evacuation. And I'm going to talk about that. But yeah, this is what we're doing today. Chris was at the private conference session of yesterday's Lionsgate. How you doing today, Chris? Let me know. And Bo, I was thinking about you earlier, love. How you doing, honey? How you doing, my love? Happy Lionsgate. You were nowhere around yesterday. Where were you? Yeah, real life emergency takes precedent, obviously. Yeah, and I was just too tired. I mean, well, actually the first Friday that I missed on the 2nd was the day that I was evacuated, but I was already tired earlier that day. And I talked about it in the video when I was showing all the smoke. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to do a podcast. Like at that point, I still didn't think we were getting evacuated. I really didn't think that that was going to come. I was wrong. I was very, very wrong. But I also knew there was a possibility of me being wrong. You know, I knew that. And, you know, sometimes you just want to believe a thing so much, you just decide that that's what it is. But especially when it comes to me and my experience, I don't always get, you know, the heads up on everything. I mean, that would kind of really wash out my human existence. I do get a lot of information, and I'm very connected and very sensitive to what's going on and things like this, and really truly am guided and get help, and I'm supported in so many ways. But life is still a mystery to me in a lot of ways. And as things come for me, you know, it is like for, I would think, everybody. It's moment to moment. Anyhow, Chris says, I'm alive. So much fun. Can't wait to re-listen to it. Yeah, go for it. Yeah, we need kind of, I mean, you're not expected to do it the very next day. That's a lot. But like tomorrow, for all of you who were there live, tomorrow would be a great day. It's Saturday. Hopefully you don't have a bunch of stuff planned or whatever. You could do whatever you want. You can spend a couple hours listening back to it, taking notes, remembering what you did and what it felt like when you were there. Most people said that they were kind of in and out. It was very intense. And sometimes when we connect to these really intense energies, and I'm channeling those like Archangel Michael. And for the most part, last night, it was Archangel Metatron that came through, and he is extremely intense, and he's very specialized with certain portals, and the Lion's Gate is his territory. So he runs the show every single Lion's Gate for the most part. And so I channeled him for a long time. He's very intense, and what we do with him and what he guides us to do is very intense. And the integrations, the activations, all the things, you know, it is meant to clear us, align us, recalibrate us, balance us, open us up, reactivate us, reconnect to time loops connected to the Lion's Gate, the abundance matrix. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on here. There's a lot that these spirit walks entail. And again, you're highly, highly, highly encouraged to do it if you haven't done it. If you weren't there with me live, it's available here on my website. And but like I said, I mean, you could just do it the one time and not be that. And if that's the way, you know, you're meant to do it, then let that be that. But again, ultimately, you're guided to listen back to it, take notes, and then do it again at least once or twice after that, or more. But that's the minimum to really, really get things nice and gelled in. It's just too much to, when you're in that astral space, it's very dreamy, and it's really hard to remember. Even right after, it's hard to remember all that took place and be conscious of it. It's a trippy phenomenon that happens to most people, and even me. And I'm the facilitator. It's coming through me. And there'll be things when I listen back to it that I'm like, holy shit, I completely forgot all about this. So it's a dimensional thing, and that is also a thing with our consciousness, is the best way for me to describe that. Bo says, I went to dinner and then a meditation out under the moon. Very cool. Very cool. Sounds beautiful. So anyway, chime in if you have any questions or anything to add about our live yesterday for the Lionsgate. And if you have any questions about the replay. Oh, the other thing in the replay is that I walk you through the method. It's called the 3 Eyes DMT release method. And I show you how to quickly, instantly, effectively, naturally, safely release DMT and open up and activate your third eye. So we do that in the beginning. We spend about 20-30 minutes on that. And then we get into the spirit walk, where we actually use the method in the spirit walk as well. So you get that whole thing, 2 hours and 22 minutes. Oh, and then after the spirit walk, a couple people had to go right away because it was getting late, but most people stayed and we just discussed the spirit walk and wrapped it up. So all in all, I didn't know that until today when I downloaded it, but it was 2 hours, 22 minutes, and like 39 seconds. Laura, my love, Laura was there. Hi, thanks so much for the info about doing it again. I am definitely going to do that. And everything you said is true. I kept going in and out and was worried I missed things. Yeah, it's really common. Almost everybody's, said that. And when we, especially for these really intense ones where we're really connecting with all this super duper high level galactic gates, like the Lion's Gate, it's like aside from like 1111 and the crossover between 1231 and 11, it really is like the biggest one of the year, and the most potent energetically, and how it affects us, and just depending on, especially if you're in my world and you join me on what I do and what I'm guided to facilitate, then you're really gonna be feeling this intensities and all that stuff. I miss the good stuff, Bo says. Well, you're always wherever you're meant to be, but the replay is available, like I said, on my website. Your Under the Moon sounds beautiful too. So you really didn't miss anything. You can watch the replay of the public on Facebook and YouTube. And so it was like 2 hours. I did an energy update and oracle reading, which was really awesome for my alchemy and my archetypes decks. I got 2 cards that were perfect, magical, beautiful, inspiring, about the Lion's Gate and beyond. And then we moved to the private, which is what I was talking about before, the lesson in the DMT release, and which, again, by the way, has nothing to do with breath work, and the spirit walk. So it's totally available to partake of. Oh my God, I'm so sorry I left suddenly. My dog licked my earpiece and it just disconnected everything. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. We're basically done. I didn't think really anything of it. I was like, oh, Chris is gone. Okay. But it's fine. Don't even worry about it. So glad you were there. So glad you were there, Laura and Sandra and Michelle. Who else was there? Nicole and Barb and Ryan and Sonia. And that's it. Wasn't a huge group. Hopefully I'm not forgetting anybody. Anyhow, not too late to join. Ryan. Oh, you're a different Ryan. Ryan's, or is that, yeah, that's a different Ryan. Hello, you're a different Ryan. But hello there, Ryan Seagal or Seagull. Not sure my one client, Ryan. Oh, it is you. That was confusing. Secret name. Oh, okay. You dork. I'm like, oh, it's right. Wait a minute. It's not right. Okay. Yes. You're so funny. Well, hello. We had, well, speak for yourself, Ryan. Tell everybody how you're doing. But I will, in the meantime, but say it in your own words. But basically, he was at our Lionsgate yesterday. He has had or positive for COVID since, was it Tuesday night? Yeah, Tuesday night. And anyway, long story short, today he's feeling exponentially better. I knew he would after all what we were going to do with the spirit walk, but it was like to what degree, because we weren't doing it we weren't doing energy work or energy healing specifically for Ryan for COVID. But I knew that it was going to benefit him, make him feel a lot better. It was just like, how much better, So it was really fun. He says it was a super powerful spirit walk, lots of powerful abundance energy. Oh, yes. Major abundance energy. That stuff gets me jacked. I talked about that earlier. Gets me jacked. I woke up energized. Yeah, and he's been sleeping a lot last few days because he's been so tired. That's what COVID does. It makes you super duper tired. Bouncy even. He said he got a lot done today, which is fantastic. So yeah, feeling good. So glad to hear it. So glad to hear it. Okay, so again, happy Lionsgate portal and Stargate. Just to remind everybody, the Stargate for any month and for the Lionsgate, a lot of people just think it's that one day, 8/8, and it's not. It goes all the way through to the 18th and beyond. And so you have to just, be aware of what that is. If you're not aware of what Stargates are, let me share a video with you. It's an oldie but a goodie that explains the monthly Stargates, which also comprises the 1111 one, the 88 one, and the 111. And that will help you to connect you and really chart and pay attention to what goes on in a Stargate. And you will find that things are different in a Stargate, or there's happenings that line up with Stargates, and it just is a thing. So it's a good thing to pay attention to. Energies are heightened. Emotions are heightened. Sometimes these are coupled with other things, like right now, Mercury retrograde. It started with a new moon. Sometimes it's overlapping with full moons or other things, and anything is just going to amplify those things on all sides. So this is no different. This is a very, very intense Stargate. This takes us into the last Stargate before the last 3 months of the year. Or September, October, November, and December. Sorry, 4 months of the year. I'm not counting that right. I know I'm not. Last 4 months of the year, which are the ones that really start to get, as the year goes on, it gets more and more intense with energies and the shifts and the changes that are meant to take place timeline wise, because we're heading into a new branch with a new year, and each year has its own thing going on. And that's pretty easy to to see, I think, from, for most years, most cases, it's like there's, the big things that happen and the energies that are all connected to those things on the micro level and the macro level. Anywho, just be aware we are in, we are in a paradigm shift that started with the eclipse and then the summer solstice and these last couple of events with full moons and new moons, and then leading up to this Stargate and this new moon and this Mercury retrograde, to help us align and connect to our highest possible timelines, raising the vibration of the collective consciousness, spiritual connections, and all this sort of stuff that is there for us to partake of, to help us really embody ourselves more, our soul, our light bodies, our energy, to connect with our guides and guardians. Again, our highest possible timelines, like Ryan mentioned, more abundance energies. And this Lionsgate Spirit Walk was a lot with that. So if you're into abundance, you're going to enjoy that. It's going to feel real good if you do that Spirit Walk, because there's a lot of that there. That's the stuff that gets us all jacked up. I call it spiritual cocaine. Okay, so enough of that. Chime in if you have any questions, anybody. Aside from that, let's get into I'm not gonna spend too much time on this, I don't think, but I just want to acknowledge, yes, I was I think California is still in a state of emergency. The park wildfire is the one that affected me, that got really, really close to my house. All these last few days after being home and coming home on Saturday have been, well, aside from the first 24 hours, which was weird. It was really clear up here the first day and a half I was here. And then it got super smoky again these last few days. I'm like, what is going on? But we went from warning to evacuation orders on Friday, which is when I evacuated Friday night. It was so much fun. Such a blast. Can't wait to do it again. And then that was in effect all week until Saturday, when it went to warning. And then I came home as soon as I could, because the animals really needed to come home, and I wanted to water my plants, and I just wanted to be home. It was very interesting. It was an adventure. The animals, you guys, the check this out. I'm super stoked about this, because the animals, especially the dogs, really surprised me in the best way. Just having the cats in the back of the car, fitting us all in the car. I have a crossover, an 8-passenger Infiniti. I know, right? And I got all the cats in the very, very back in a total of 3 big cages and 4, 5 little ones. Yeah. And my let me just say that my dogs and my cats they don't share space. The puppies came not independently, 6 months apart, but both of them not good with cats, in the sense that they get super excited. They want to run up on the cats, and when the cats run, they want to chase the cats. And Cora doesn't try to hurt them. Chacho a couple of times mouthed at them, but didn't really got his mouth on my cat. And if he wanted to, it could have gotten really rough, but he listened to me screaming at him, no, but pretty dramatic. And so anyway, my cats and my dogs do not share space. Typically my dogs are either in the bedroom with me or outside. They are not in my other bedroom, my main bedroom that I haven't slept in over a year because of my dogs. But the cats are in there in my queen size bed on a mattress that has had 30 nights of me sleeping on it in a year. Otherwise, I'm in my other bedroom with my puppies, with my dogs, on a twin size bed that I've had for years, and been sleeping on for a long time. I have other cats upstairs. I have 4 other cats upstairs. And then I have one that has adopted me in the last like 6-8 months. I call him the dude, and he stays out on the mud room. It's like the laundry room, the fridge is out there, and it's like a space before you get to the kitchen. When I'm with the cats, the dogs are not with me, and vice versa. But we had to do this whole evacuation thing, and there's no choice. There's me, I'm alone. I have one car. It's a big one. It's not the biggest car, but it's a decent sized car. And I was able to not only pack all my cats and my dogs in, but keep all the stuff I had originally put in my car when I had originally left my cats, because for one, I didn't think that the fire would come here and get that close. I checked my pendulum, like we're going to work with here in a little bit. I checked with my pendulum. Is the house going to be okay? Yes, was the answer. Are my cats going to be okay if I leave them? Yes, was the answer. Is the fire going to get okay? I asked it several times, different ways. It was always very positive, that everything would be fine and my cats would be okay. But it really freaked me out when I left and I was getting to the gate, and you know what? I'll go ahead. It's a really short video. I'll post it on my Facebook if you guys want to take a look. And I got to my gate and I could see fire on the ridge. It might be hard for me. I can't just select that I want to. Okay, maybe not. I'll upload it later. I thought it'd be easy. It's not. But I took video of it. So I was like, when I saw that, I got really freaked out because my cats were all up in this house. And the thought of them being trapped in a burning house, and me having left them, was not sitting well with me at all. I literally was driving away but I didn't know I knew that seeing the fire on the ridge, it's deceiving because it's close enough to see the fire, but it's really not that close. But that's just one little spot. I don't know what that means anywhere else. And 30 to 45 minutes after I got the evacuation orders at 5:55 p.m. of all time, the power went out on top of that, which means no internet. So I had no way of communicating with anybody or any messages coming in or out to understand, to follow like the pattern of the fire to get whatever, just period. And as it got later, the sky was literally red. I took video of that too. I'm not even sure if I posted it. I'll go back and look at what I posted and what I didn't, and I'll post them because I took a lot of videos that it was just time, the time factor and actually uploading. I haven't had a whole lot of time as I'm living through it. So, anyway, it was very smoky. Ash was raining down. The sky was orange. On one hand, it was like everything's going to be fine. On the other hand, I'm seeing the fire. I didn't think I had room in the car for the cats. But more importantly, when I reserved my motel room, that was the first thing I was guided to do, was secure a place for me and my animals to go to. Because where was I going to go? So that's what I did. I got a Motel 6. When I called to just see, like, what if they say, oh, we're taking off the evacuation order, and I got like 4 days worth, will I get refunded and stuff? And in that conversation that I had with the guy before the internet went out was him basically telling me I couldn't bring my cats, that they could take max 2 animals at a time, maybe if it was 1 cat, but not all my cats. And I was like, okay, then I guess I'm going to leave them. It's just going to be so much stressful with them anyway. I don't really need to take them. I was just kind of like deciding that. And, but like I said, once I saw the fire on the ridge, it really freaked me out. I don't get scared often. And the fire itself, that bums me out for the wildlife and the trees, obviously, and just the land. But as far as like stuff goes, that wouldn't bother me so much. Obviously you don't want that to happen. You don't want your house to burn up and all your stuff in it to burn up, but as long as I have my babies out of that situation, then it's like, well, then whatever to the rest of it. But I didn't have all my babies with me in that situation. I had them split up. My dog's in my car, my cat's in the house, and there was the fire on the ridge, and I was not okay with that. And Chris up here says, glad you're feeling at least a little bit better, Ryan. Yeah, he's feeling lots better. He's feeling a lot better. So I kept going. I decided I'm gonna go and I'm gonna talk to the authorities. Basically, there's gonna be sheriffs I'm gonna find real soon. It took me a little bit longer than I thought, but 5 minutes from my house, maybe 6. I came across 3 sheriff trucks and pulled over and talked to them. I was literally beside myself. I was having a hard time speaking. And I very seldom get like that. And I basically said, I told them what I just got done telling you about the motel, not being able to take them, but I see the fire. I'm not going to leave them there. Obviously, do I have time? And this sheriff was just this really sweet, very calm. There was one that was really talking to me the most, very sweet and calm and collected and patient, and exactly what I needed him to be, energetically, and said, the fire is not that close. It is on the ridge, but it's just this one little piece, and it's not moving. And I should get my cats. And not only that, but he goes, let's see if we can find a place for you to take your cats. You can still keep your motel with you and your dogs. So then they literally didn't let me leave for the next 15 minutes. In the meantime, I started moving things around in my car while they were getting on wherever they were getting on and talking to. Turns out it was the Humane Society in Reading, where I was going, where the motel was that I secured. And eventually got a hold of somebody who said they were going to be opening it because they were doing this evacuation thing, and people were going to need to take their animals there as well. And that's where I could take my cats. So anyway, I was super grateful for all of that, and went back home and got my cats, which was challenging because there's a lot of them. It was dark. There was no electricity. They were freaked out. I couldn't bring the car all the way to the house because, oh yes, P.S. on my way out the first time, I had not seen this all day. I don't know when it happened, but a giant oak tree split and was in the middle of my driveway. So I had enough space to go around it to get out the first time, but there was no way I was going to get past it to come in and then out again. So I had to park further away on the driveway and then literally carry all of my cats like decently. Not a mile or anything, but a lot further than, right outside the house. It was exhausting. But like I said, I got all the cats in and all the stuff just rearranged. Chacho sat in the front with me like he always does anyway. Cora in the middle of the back seat and stuff next to her in the back seat. I basically had a laundry basket that I filled with my clothes and all, just random shit. I really need to get a duffel bag and a backpack. I don't have either of those things because I let other people have them and I never got them back and I never got them again. So I'm like, I'm literally packing a basket. Wow. But whatever, it worked. And you could stack stuff on top. And then my cooler, because I literally just went, because whatever reason, I got Instacart and I got a bunch of groceries just like 2 days before. So I had like all my plant milks and all this stuff and just my juices. And so I was like, oh yeah, I have a cooler. So I packed my cooler with my drinks. Drinks are important. It's important to have your drinks, especially when you just bought your drinks. I don't know about you, but beverages are extremely important to me in my life. Not just water, and my lemon water, my minty lemon honey, bay leaf and sage leaf water, and my juice, or my smoothies, or my plant milks, or whatever that happens to be. I'm a beverage person, and it's kind of even a comfort thing for me. Like I need my drink. I need my drinks. It could be multiple drinks. And just to make life easier, it was just like, yeah, take them with me. Then that way I don't have to think about it. And I have a cooler. Why not? I definitely thought coming back for the cats, I was going to have to just leave that behind. But I fit it all in my car. All of it. Everything that I had originally put in my car, plus my 8 cats. Amazing. And coming home, I had even more stuff than I left with because I had forgotten all the cat food, cat treats, cat stuff. Besides the cats, I forgot the cat stuff. Because once I got us all in the car, it was really dark out. And the fire trucks were coming through and honking and doing all sorts of shit. And I was just like, I just need to get out of here. And I literally forgot to come back and get cat food and the cat stuff. So I had to I had to buy a lot of stuff. The cat stuff being part of it. So I had like a bunch of, I'm not just going to buy a couple cans. I have a bunch of cats. I'm going to buy the usual stuff, which is cases of cat food and bags of cat food and a bunch of different cat treats because they're spoiled beyond they're just spoiled. They get the soft treats, they get the crunchy treats, they get their food, their soft food, their hard food. They have a buffet, as do the dogs. A huge bag just dedicated to dog treats. The most stuff that I packed in my car was animals or animal related. My shit was minimal. I'd say my personal shit took up maybe 20%, if that. I think that's probably stretching it, actually. Maybe 10%. Well, okay, if you count me, then maybe 20%. But anyway. So when we get to the Humane Society, it is completely closed and dark. Gates are up. You can't even drive up to the building. And I'm like, yo, sheriffs told me to be here and I have all my cats. What is happening? So I called, and long story short, it was not opened. It was not going to be open. I wasn't going to get an answer or resolution at 1:00 in the morning, which is basically the time I was there. I was there at like 12:45 a.m. And I was just guided to go to my motel. Like, what am I supposed to do at 1:00 in the morning with a car full of cats that are meowing? And I did do a video on my way out of town, so that is on my Facebook. So I apologize. I'm just remembering that. So I apologize if you guys have heard all this before, but the guy at the Motel 6 was really cool, super sweet, and was fine with me bringing all the cats in. He gave me a bottom floor handicap room, which gave me a really big bathroom, and I could put all the cats in there. And then it was just me and the dogs in the little bedroom. And that's what I was going to getting at earlier, was that since that experience where the cats and the dogs had to be in the car together, had to be in this motel together. And for the most part, I did not keep that bathroom door shut because there's no windows. And there's 8 cats and a litter box that I needed to constantly be cleaning. I have 5 litter boxes at home. Just to put it into perspective. And that door needed to stay open, not all the way, but like that much. So I put something so it wouldn't slide open, and enough to, just keep some light and air going through most of the time. And the dogs really, they like stick their head in sometimes and look, but when I said, get away from there, they would. A few times, a few of my cats got out and went under the bed. So the cat and dogs were but they're not ravenously aggressive towards the cats. They just get excited and start whining. They don't even bark. They just whine. They get excited about the cats. They want to get up on the cats. And of course, cats don't like that. And if anything, I'm more afraid for the dogs than I am the cats, because the cats have all their claws and all their teeth. And, they're little weapon machines. When I worked in veterinary, I don't think I ever saw an injury of a cat if in a dog and cat fight. It was always the injury of the dog in a dog and cat fight. So yeah. So anyway, but they all did really well. And so now, what's really cool that I really didn't do before, even with tests before this last week, was I will leave the door, and just because that they kind of got desensitized. Like both the cats and the dogs kind of got desensitized. Like the cat saw, like the door could stay open. The dogs are not going to barrel in. And the dogs were like, oh, we can, like it just worked both ways. They both just kind of, after over a year. And so I have tested it these last couple days. I leave the door open to the mudroom, and the dude is in there. If anything, dude comes at the dogs, and the dogs are like sitting there, and he's like walking up, and he is he was my problem child in that bathroom. Boy, I tell you what, just the youngest little nothing attitude filled piece of shit. So challenging, little want to strangle his neck cat, kept getting in everybody else's face, just not respecting boundaries or personal space of all the cats. And each cat had like this much room, and it was like, and he'd just be like, hey, and just like, I'd be touching, petting a cat, and he'd just come over, and just it was just, I had to throw him in the corner. I had to zip him up in the carrier a few times to get him to stop, just to leave, because he's not used to sharing me with anybody. His zone is the mudroom. No other cats are there. No other cats come into the main area, because sometimes they do, but they don't hang out. He stays there, and he doesn't intermingle with the other cats. He doesn't intermingle with the dogs. And when I am intermingling with him, it's just the two of us. So he's used to having me all to himself, which is a very unique experience to all the other animals. All the cats need to share me with other cats, and the dogs need to share me with each other. But this one cat, the newest cat, the youngest cat, the mountain cat that still has his little balls, has a very unique experience with me. And so he didn't augment that at all when we were in the motel. He still was like, you're my person. And I'm like, yeah, and I'm all these other cats and dogs person too. And he was just, oh my God, he was a lot. He was a lot. First 2 nights, Pretty Boy, my other cat, big fluffy black ragdoll cat, just meowed nonstop, torturing us all. Meow, 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 that shit. And then he would stop. And then I would fall asleep. And then he would start again. Oh my God. The second night, though, I wasn't so exhausted because the first night I literally didn't get to sleep after everything was settled until like 4:30 in the morning. So I was brain dead. And when he started that shit at like 5 in the morning or whatever, I could barely move. It was just so annoying. It didn't occur to me to just put him in the car. It just didn't. But the second night it did. The second night I was like, and I had a talk with him. I go, look, if you try that shit tonight, you're going in the car. And he did, and I did. So for 2.5 hours from like 5 whatever in the morning to 7 whatever in the morning before it started getting hot, he was in the back. He was in the back of my car, so I could sleep. And then he didn't do that anymore. Weird. He did not do that anymore. He didn't like that very much. He didn't like being stuffed into a little carrier. He didn't like being in the car all by himself. He didn't like it at all. But that was the point. And so I could sleep. But otherwise, my time was spent with really just taking care of the cats from, early in the morning, taking care of them, the dogs having to wait to go for a walk, and then eventually us getting out and going to Norpon or the Turtle Bay open dog spaces and them running around for a couple of hours, coming back, taking care of the cats, maybe doing some work or have a meeting with a client or a group, then going back out or taking care of the cats, going back out so I could take care of the dogs, so that, and then, yeah, just that's basically what it was. And the greatest part about it was, and I wrote about it a little bit in the article that I wrote for the Lionsgate, was that I got to be in the river, the Sacramento River, which is really amazing. Namely, Mount Shasta filters into the Sacramento River. There's a couple other places, and also Mount Lassen, which is also, I'm basically in the middle of these 2 volcanoes, and mountain volcanoes, and the water that comes into the river is really magical and amazing. And I got to, and I just, and it wasn't that hot in Redding, not nearly as hot as it could be. It was 119 degrees in Redding 2 weeks before. And then we got like, I think it peaked towards the end there at like 103 or something. But for the most part, it was well under. I think a couple days, it was even in the 80s. It was like, what is happening? But I'll take it. I was so grateful that it wasn't, that crazy heat when this was going on. And my goodness. Yeah, so it was basically, that was it. And I just took it day by day. I knew it was going to be a few days. I thought it was going to be all through this last weekend too. So when the orders came through on Saturday, or when the alarm came through that it went to a warning, I was pretty surprised actually, but very happy. And then made my way home by packing up, and didn't have the best experience leaving the motel, but I'm not going to get into it. Yeah, I asked for extra time, and the person, anyway, it just did. It was frustrating, but it is what it is. For the most part, it was great, and people were fantastic, except for the last person that I dealt with, which was a real bummer. And they made me pay for going over by 45 minutes. So that was not cool, but whatever. And then I got to come home to find that Cal Fire had chopped up that oak tree, or not chopped it up, well, moved the branch, like cut it, moved it so that the driveway was open. I saw my neighbor on the way up here and I asked him if he could help me with that. And then when we got here, it was done. He did fix the fence though, because it had smushed down the fence and the dogs would have easily gotten through that. So he helped me with that, which was, these are the things that are like kind of those, like, you can just see past them but go, wow, that's just made my life so much easier. Just running into Elliot, us seeing that the tree was already taken care of, especially since his chainsaw didn't start, actually. And then, I'm being gutted to tell you a couple other things that happened. I was so out of it. Like, I was so tired. I was so sleep deprived. I was exerting so much energy, just really keeping things as positive as I could for my animals, that I was doing some real stupid shit. Ever been so like tired and so just like out of your element and shifting of energies and all this going on that you find yourself just doing the dumbest shit? Like, example, one day I woke up, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, and I wanted to take the dogs for a walk and I couldn't find their leash. And it's because my dogs are so good that I can just open up the motel door and be like, let's just go to the car, and they don't need a leash, and we just go to the car, and vice versa. And so I don't always have a leash with me or them. And so I needed to go to the car, and then I couldn't find my keys. And then I'm guided to go out to the car. And not only was like the doors unlocked to the car, but my car key was in the car all night long, overnight, at a Motel 6 in Reading. And nobody messed with it. I was like, wow. Then the next day, or 2 days after that, hey, Karen, I was doing laundry for the first time. So this was, I think, Friday, where I needed to do laundry, towels and blankets and clothes and stuff. And everything that you need for, you got to get change and put the stuff in and blah, 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 this stuff. And I did that, went back to the room, was hanging out. And then all of a sudden I was like, I started looking for my wallet. I don't even need it at that point, but I couldn't find it anywhere in the room. I literally left my wallet in the laundry room under, like, I was waiting for people to get their stuff out. So I stacked my stuff, a whole bunch of towels, and I don't even know how it happened. I don't remember, but my wallet was under these towels. My wallet. For the if it was 5 minutes that I knew that I didn't have my wallet in my possession, I was like, oh, this is going to seriously suck if I don't have any money or any way to get money until I get cards again or whatever, as I'm at the Motel 6 with all my animals. Like, are you kidding me? And then I found it undisturbed in the laundry room. I mean, just wild. Hansa, hello. Anyway, so it was a different kind of week for sure. It was cool in the sense of I know the capacity of me, my animals, and my car. And yeah, once I had my cats with me, I wasn't panicking anymore. I was like I said before, it was just like, okay, whatever happens, happens. I've got all my animals with me. That's all that matters. And I was prepared. I was really prepared to wake up on Saturday of that first, Friday to Saturday, the first night, to seeing that the fire had gotten past my house and, probably my house, or this whole area burned up. Because that on that Friday afternoon, the fire had moved so quickly that if it kept up that pace, it would definitely, it would have gone that far, but it just didn't the whole rest of the time. It barely moved at all. So, and as I said before, I got to be in the river multiple times a day for 7 days. And I really I know I wasn't really conscious of it at the time. It's not like I went to the river every time and went like, ooh, light codes, Mount Shasta, blah, 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 blah. I didn't do a whole thing for it. I could not get enough of sticking my feet and my hands and my legs. There was only so much I could do it because it's very cold. But I did it as often as I could. And it just felt so freaking good. And I kept, just as much as possible. And I know that I received a lot from that. And it's just unquantifiable, but I did. And I definitely feel that. I'm not sure what this person is saying here on Facebook. Sorry, Hansa, I'm not sure what you're saying. Anyhow, I guess that's basically it. We got back home on Saturday. I was exhausted for the next few days. Finally, last couple days feeling more normal, but then it was like, here we are at the Lion's Gate. So things have felt very intense energetically for a while. I was already feeling the intensity of the fire and the stress and the fear and everything that was going on since it started. So it's been kind of a long, multiple days. It's been, at this point, it's been 2 weeks. 2 weeks, so 14 full, started on Wednesday, so it's like 16 days now, I think, of this going on with the fire. I haven't checked recently how far contained it was, but the last time I heard it was like 40% contained, but they also lost control in Mineral a couple days ago, which isn't that far away from here. So it's still not over, but it's the status of where I live is back to normal and not warning or order. And hopefully I won't have to deal with something like that again, or at least for a very long time. So anyhow, so that's the end of that. Thanks for listening to my story. We are next to, and I just want to say thank you to everybody who checked in on me, who sent messages and texts and donated. I really appreciate your donations through that whole ordeal. It really did help me a lot. And I definitely needed it because I spent so much money that I did not have budgeted for this sort of thing at this time. So it was definitely a depletion just between the hotel and food for me and the dogs and whatever supplies, gas, just everything. I haven't added it up. I kept all my receipts. I haven't added it up, but I know it was approaching at least $1,100, something like that. So any little bit counts and counted, and I appreciate that. I appreciate your donations at any time, but especially during this, and all your love and support, and like I said, checking in on me and really being there with me. Special shout out to Ryan. You were so sweet and right there with me the entire time. He stayed up really late on Friday night. He was stressed out because I lost internet and he couldn't talk to me for several hours. And anyway, I love you and I appreciate all of you, Karen and Adrian and Laura, for your donations, and everybody that reached out, Chris, and yeah, Bo, Cassie, all of you. There's so many of you. I really appreciate it. I was in a weird, it was very weird. And it's still been very weird. And I wrote about it being weird, and it's just a weird thing. But anyway, I appreciate you, all your love and support, you guys, during all of that. Okay, so with that said, I need some of my cocktail, which is not really a cocktail. It's my juice. Sometimes I mix. Why won't this go in? I love grape juice and lemonade. And then sometimes I get very wild and I'll do a different type of juice on top of the lemonade and the grape juice, like a passion fruit or a pink grapefruit or a pineapple, which is what I got going on now. It is delicious. Highly recommend. With a lot of ice and some water to take down the sugar in it. I buy the lemonade or whatever, that kind of juice. I get 0 sugar. I just get the good whatever grape juice. Oh my God, it was so good. I love it. Like I said, I'm into beverages. That's one of my beverages. Okay, so the other thing that we were going to get into, sorry, I got distracted with the thing for the fire. Don't need to look at that right now though. I'm going to get some music here. Let's see what that is. I'm going to listen to something here in the background. My pendulum. Pendulum time. We did the pendulum thing, like I said, a couple times a few weeks ago. This was right after the Trump assassination. And I'm going to adjust my camera so we can move it out. There we go. When we all were wondering what was going on with this thing with the Trump assassination, we spent 2 separate days, Monday and Friday of that next week, with me getting answers in relation to the assassination attempt. And then since then, a lot has come through, or not come through, a lot has happened. What comes to mind? There was I think it was a congressional hearing of the director of the Secret Service, who eventually resigned because she's a piece. She's something. And Biden disappears and then he comes back, and then there was all that weirdness. He resigns, or not doesn't resign. He gets out of the election. Kamala gets put in his place. And what else? Help me out, people. There's been a lot that has gone on. And I was just guided to come through again, and not just like, I'm open to current events. So questions that you might have about the assassination, about the election, from, you know, Trump to Harris to Biden to RFKJ, and beyond things that could be, you know, timely and topical that are going on right now. Personally, I know I should start this with a question of my own, but I'm kind of drawing a blank. I will say that none of the information that I got about RFKJ, Bobby, and his presidential, you know, run and victory, that he is going to be the president, that has remained the same. He is going to win the case that they're bringing against him in New York. It's a residency case about, they're trying to disqualify him from being on the ballot, is the bottom line, in all the states. And he's winning all of those. But in New York, it's special because he is down as a resident. But he also has a home in California. And that is where his wife, Cheryl Hines, the actress, is stationed in LA. So they live in two places. Anyway, that's going on. But he is going to win that. And he's just getting more momentum. More people are talking to him. More people are getting to know him and saying, why not him? Why does he have to be a spoiler? Why are they not letting him debate? Why, you know, and just really putting pressure on the media and the establishment about that and about him. And whenever there's been a block of any kind, you know, to oppose him, to slow him down, it's only benefited him. It's only put him more in the spotlight as to why they're doing these things with him, what they're calling lawfare, and really weaponizing the judicial system, and doing things that they have not done with other people. And it's because they're threatened by him. He does bring in, and promises to bring in, and will bring in, a shit ton of change to how our current government and world is structured, and how things are done and not done, and manipulated and controlled, and how corrupted our system is. And I've gotten visions for many months now that he would be the president. And when I asked, like, how is that going to happen, I got very clear answers that made sense. And the visions have never changed. So on that front, that is a very positive thing that remains with RFKJ. And otherwise, I guess when we're thinking about, you know, current affairs, current happenings, politically, we have these different categories for these different candidates that we can get into. We can also kind of dig a little bit more into the assassination attempt, although a lot of what we came up with my pendulum from a few weeks ago has come through. It has been established. I'm pretty sure I remember this from at least a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago, that they isolated that it was 3 different gunshots, 3 different weapons that were shot. That's what we said. Multiple people It's a little fuzzy for me. See, that's the thing. So much has happened, and I've been through this whole thing in between that it's a little hazy for me. So again, I welcome anybody to jump in with questions about any of these things. I'm trying to think of what would be a good one to ask. How about this one? Okay, this one's coming to mind since nobody's helping. Hello, is this thing on? Nobody has any questions for the pendulum? Okay, so this one is coming to mind. This is about Harris, and I think this is an easy one. I think this one is going to be a yes. I don't think this is big surprise here about Harris being nominated, officially nominated at the DNC, their convention. I think that's in a couple weeks still, something like that. Anyway, so let's just ask that question. Will Kamala Harris be confirmed as the nominee for president at the convention? And it is going yes. You can see, oops, hitting the mic. My clockwise is a yes. And there it goes. That is clockwise for will she be confirmed. And let's just ask this. I'm just going to go until people jump in. And if nobody does, then I'm going to stop and we'll close it out. Okay. Let's just dive in the deep end, shall we? Will Kamala Harris win as the president in 2024? And it's going no. Pretty quickly, pretty definitively, pretty easily a no. And it's just starting to go faster now. If I let it go, it'll continue to get faster and faster. I can feel this. This is a very strong, as you can see, I'm not spinning, I'm not moving it here, but it's very, very strong yet. Sorry, very strong no, going counterclockwise. So no, Kamala Harris does not win the presidency. Chris says, I'm trying to remember all that's happened in the last few weeks. Yeah, me too. Like I said, it's not easy. It's kind of a mush in my brain. My brain hasn't unmushed, or what I call fully docked from from being tired and evacuating, coming home, Lionsgate, and today it's just one big loaf of blended brain. That's why I'm like, okay, but anyway, we do have, okay, so we have, yes, she'll be confirmed, but no, she will not be president. So let's do the same for Trump. Oh my God. You'll notice the yawns frequently here when I connect like this. Let's do the same for Trump. Well, Trump, Donald J. Trump, win the presidency in 2024. It's jumping. Look at it jump. Oh my goodness. Look at that. It's jumping. Will Donald J. Trump win the presidency in 2024? And this is also going no. All by itself, nice and smoothly and pretty strongly. It's picking up speed. But we have a confirmation that the answer is no, Trump will not be elected president. So what does that leave us with? Getting stabbed by my pendulum. It's pretty sharp too. It's pretty pointy. Again, this is a brass, clear quartz, and aquamarine with copper pendulum. My newest pendulum, and I really dig it. I'm bummed it has a couple of knots in it, but still good business. Okay, next. Will Robert F. Kennedy Jr. win the presidency in 2024, November 2024? And whoa, getting very excited and going yes. What does that say? Does JFK get on the ballot in every state? Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what you meant. That's a good question. We just got the question. We just got the answer that he becomes president. So this is probably anticlimactic, but a good one. But we could ask it anyway. Does RFKJ get on the ballot in every state? We got a yes. A yes coming. There it goes. Once it starts to, when it starts with such a like weird shaky bounce stuff going, because there's so much energy, it takes a while for it to start going nice and smooth like this. But yeah, there we go. Great question though. Great question. Here's a question. This is about the Trump assassination attempt. So I'm curious about this to a certain degree, which would be, I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this already, but how do I frame this? Okay, so just to review, what we got from the pendulum about the Trump assassination attempt was that there were two plans, Plan A and Plan B. Plan A consisted of a fake assassination attempt. But then there was an overlapping Plan B that was an actual assassination attempt. So there's people who were involved in what they thought was not going to be something real, and then people that were involved in what was supposed to be an actual assassination. So it's complicated. And not everybody knows each other, obviously, but there is obviously overlap. We did get confirmation that ex-FBI, that Secret Service, and that people in the Trump camp were on both of those teams to some degree. No, that's not true. Sorry, I don't want to confuse things. That any type of the ex-FBI and them and were on the Plan B. Plan A was more like it was supposed to be a scare, I guess is the best way to put it. So anyway, the question that I have is, does anybody from either Plan A or Plan B get found out? Does the truth come to light beyond us here with my pendulum? Does the truth come to light about these two plans? Does anybody, serve justice or get, pulled out into the light about these, what happened with Trump? No. No, I had a feeling that was the case. Because when the very people that would investigate are people that are involved, the people that would find, it's just the same thing with everything else. It's like, why would that happen? Like it would all have to fall apart and everybody would have to be brought out. And it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Which I don't even know. Maybe it's better that way. I don't know. I really don't. But I'm not surprised by it either. Their investigations are just going to. Anybody that's sincerely investigating is just going to be led in circles because there's just too many people making sure that, they're all kind of in it together. And if one gets brought out, they kind of all get brought out. And they're just not willing to, nobody's going to do that. So, again, not surprised at all by that. Okay. Do we have any questions about Biden or Harris or Trump, regardless of that? I don't know if I kind of, just went to the end here and just asked the most obvious questions about who's going to win, which, in case you missed it, RFK Jr. Got the positive on who's going to win. And that's the same answer that I've gotten for months now, is that RFK Jr. is going to win the presidency, which is exactly what is needed as part of this paradigm shift into higher consciousness and unifying people and humanity, breaking down the programs, more fear-based programs and separation-based programs, eliminating the people, the parasitic dark side people that are in power in government and corporations and the private sector as well, to eliminate more corruption. He's all about that. He is the light. He is supported by the light, and his missions are light-based. And this is why he's going to win. So the more of us, obviously, that support him, that see that for what it is, and you can support in any way possible, it would be fantastic. There's a lot of propaganda. There's a lot of lies. There's a lot of things that come out about him that are twisted or just simply not true. A lot of people think a lot of things that are just absolutely not true about him because of the propaganda from mainstream media that people have believed. But he's gotten out there more and more through podcasts and interviews and his website and the videos that he makes and just the stuff that he does to have people understand. And more people are going independent. They're tired of the shenanigans of the Uniparty, of what goes on with the Dems and what goes on with the Republicans as well. And people are moving into this different space where he's at. And just yesterday, there's this big deal about Joe Rogan endorsing him. He didn't officially put out a video saying, "I'm Joe Rogan and I endorse Robert Kennedy Jr." But in one of his latest podcasts, they talk about him, and he very clearly says that he's on board with him, that he's the only one that doesn't, create negativity and attack other people, and he's about good policies and wants to change things. And he just kind of went on and on about Bobby, and it got picked up everywhere that Joe Rogan endorses Bobby. And he is the largest podcast in the world, the most influential, the biggest, most downloads, millions of downloads every episode. And so, yeah, people listen to them. Those things matter. So that's a really positive thing for sure. Survivor Vatican pedo. Oh no. Says this is good news. I agree, and I am glad that you feel the same way. No, it's great news. It really is great news. And it's just a matter of time and getting things going. There's always going to be opposition. This is why he's so opposed. There's always going to be opposition to somebody like Bobby, because the system is in place, all the corruption, the dark side who pull the strings. He's the last person that they want. That's why he had to leave the Democratic Party, because they were never going to nominate him, regardless of anything. He has talked, and that's his platform, talking openly about what he's going to pull apart and break down that needs to be broken down. And a lot of people don't like that, because they're not going to be in power anymore. They're not going to be installed in the positions that they're in anymore. There's not going to be the wealth sharing between corporations and government and people who make laws and people who, are in power in these different places. So, but it is tremendously good news that there is change coming to all of that. We need it. The world needs it. We need a big change in how things go and are run and seen. And who better than somebody who has worked his entire life for the little guy, for justice, for the environment, who's cleaned up waterways and gotten huge settlements from pharmaceutical corporations, who's been a successful environmental lawyer, who is extremely connected to nature, who has had his share, obviously, of turmoil and issues with the dark side in his life. He is spiritually awakening, following his soul guidance. And he comes from a family of people who are part of that line of empaths and people who want to unite, not separate, heal, not, control and manipulate. So it's a very exciting time. I agree, for sure. Okay, so I guess that's it. If nobody else has any questions, I can't think of anything for now. My brain is mush. And there's a little bit more sunlight till the end of the day. And honestly, I haven't gotten very much of it, nearly as much as I should, because I've been pretty busy the last couple days. So I guess we'll end this live here. I want to thank everybody for joining me. Happy Lionsgate again. Again, those replays are available. The public replays are available on Facebook and YouTube and X. You can watch the whole public, which was a little over 2 hours, energy update and oracle reading about what's going on now and into the future. Awesome messages that came through that. And then you can purchase the ticket. I will put the link one more time here on the chats. If you're interested in getting learning how to release DMT naturally, effectively, instantly, safely, and partake and participate in on the channeled guided spirit walk meditation for activating and connecting with the Lionsgate, go ahead and follow that link. You'll get streaming access indefinitely to go over it again and again. And maximize these energies. What else can I say? It's right there for you. And it'll be available, I think, at least through the end of the month. I'm not sure for how long after that. I'm going to have it there on my website like that available for download. I'll just go as guided and see. But it is available for now. Please enjoy. Let me know how it goes for you. I appreciate that so much. Share on the We Are Healing Live podcast Facebook group. If you're not already a member of that group, let me share that link with you. It is in the description. However, let me just get the link to the page for the Facebook group for this podcast. And catch me here every Friday and maybe some other days, but at least every Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific, for our weekly podcast. And last thing I'm gonna say is I think it came through last night or this morning. I think we're gonna set this up for this next week. If not, then the week after. But I think this next week, unless I'm guided to do something else, where if you were at the live yesterday, you saw me share my a couple of my crystals, my labradorite, lions, and this other crystal that has all this. And I didn't get outside to be able to get this in the sun today, but I will. It's hard to get the flash on there, but anyway, I will. But anyway, Barb, she suggested that we have a crystal show and tell. And I love that idea. And I was like, when should we do that? And how should we do that? And, all this stuff. And then it came through, well, that should be in a podcast. And so, yeah, I want to set that up where I would love for you guys to join me. And on this platform, you can join me here live on stage. You can share your screen, your camera with us and we can show each other, do show and tell with crystals, talk about the crystals, how they came to us, what they're about, how they make us feel. And I can crack open my Bible for crystals and read about them or look them up online and just have some fun with our crystals, to show them off. I think I love that idea. And again, that came through. So I think next week we're going to be doing that. And I'd love for you to prepare, think about joining me, have your, favorite 2-3 crystals that you want to talk about. And, share with everybody. I think that'd be really, really fun. Karen says, thank you, goodbye, and good night. Thank you. Goodbye and good night with kissy faces and hugs. I send the same to you, my dear Karen. I thank you so much for being here. Adrian, Michelle, Chris, and Ryan, and Bo, and everybody else who's here watching. I appreciate you all. Thanks for being here. Have a wonderful rest of your Friday and weekend. And I will see you next week here on the We Are Healing Life podcast. Bye for now, everybody. Bye-bye.